based abroad.
Yes. Amazing.
Easy life in Montreal. I know you've played like South by Southwest before, but is this your first like American tour?
Yeah, it's our first proper tour out here. We've done a bunch of festivals. We did South by, we did Coachella, we did Boston Calling, Gov Ball in New York.
Ah, you've done some good ones already.
Hangout as well in Alabama. We did like a festival season out here.
Right.
Just hitting well, like 4 or 5 festivals in 2019.
It's all a blur.
Yeah, and then that's it really. So all of these shows are the first headline shows we've ever done. This is like our first proper tour.
Yeah. How's Coachella?
You know what? It was amazing because we hadn't been. Let me think. We hadn't been to LA before that. So that was our first experience of like California, and it was amazing. But have you been to Coachella?
No, I haven't.
Like, I don't want to sound too. We're spoiled for choice, but it's not my favourite festival for various reasons. You can't really drink. That's the problem, right? So you're a Brit, you get it. Like, there's a drinking zone, like bars and stuff.
Right.
And you can get a drink, and you see the stage like right over there, and you can kind of watch the music, but not really. And then if you want to go and watch it, then you have to like leave your drinks behind. So for us as punters, like that didn't really work.
Yeah.
So based on that alone, I don't recommend Coachella. But
And you were spoiled a bit being from the UK because we have so many amazing festivals there.
Yeah.
And I guess you played a few of your favourite festivals there now. What are your favourite ones in the UK?
Glastonbury is the best festival I've ever
Even I played Glastonbury.
Really?
And he's a DJ.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, nice, sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great festival, right?
It's the best.
I mean,
just
just
like it.
the fact that if you play there, you just get a ticket in, and tickets to Glastonbury are so difficult to come by. So it's the only festival of the British season that we will stay at for the whole weekend.
Right. Yeah.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah. So when you started out, what was your idea for this band? Like when you first decided, right, I'm going to start a band.
Right.
It's going to be like this. What was the idea?
Do you know what? Like, it was just fun. It was just for fun. Like pure, just escapist.
No expectations.
No. I mean, for a lot of the time when we started, we weren't very good either. So I mean, we weren't. We had no delusions that we were actually gonna, ever do any of this stuff, tour in America or any of that stuff. And it's still a surprise every time that something like this happens, and it's the first time. There's still a lot of firsts for us.
Yeah.
So we're super grateful, but no, I don't think we planned anything other than to just sort of. How it started was we would, when we talk about this together actually quite a lot, like we used to, and we still do, like we really enjoy it, it's a labour of love, it's a hobby, the band is like so much bigger than all of us as individuals, and there's so much love goes into it, and as long as that's always the case, then I think we'll always be happy with where we're at.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of feel-good vibes.
Yeah, there is, and I think it's the music I always, I feel the urge to write music when I'm actually feeling really sad or melancholy, but I think because of that I'm trying to sort of lift myself out of those stupors and make something that's like will make you feel good. And I've always found it funny, like some of, I don't know, like uplifting songs like the obvious one being like Nightmares or something, it's actually like about something a lot more like moving and sad. It's
actually,
that
the lyrics to that sound
which is what I find is great about Easy Life, because the lyrics are perhaps quite sad, but then the melodies and the harmony and stuff is uplifting, so you get like loads of people screaming about like depression and like feeling shitty, and it's an interesting blend. I like it.
Yeah, but after the last few years, people have had a hard time, and there's been plenty of music that soundtracks hard times.
Yeah.
And I think everybody's ready for a little bit of feel-good vibe now, even if it comes from a slightly dark place.
Yeah.
So I think you kind of timed, in some ways, you timed it really well. I think people were ready for that kind of sound.
Sure.
But obviously you released the album when we were still in kind of weird times. So how was that? How was releasing your first real record?
Yeah.
In amongst all of that going on?
Yeah, I think I'm still coming to terms with it really. Like, some people say you start writing your debut album like with the first song you ever write. Do you know what I mean? Because it feels very much like in many ways, like the greatest hits. Do you know what I mean? There's some songs on the first record that were sort of 4 or 5 years old, or you sort of save them. Be like, oh no, it doesn't fit on the current project I'm working on, but it's a good song. One day I'll put it out on the first album. And you collect these songs, and then we did so much of the sort of the recording and the arranging, and quite a lot of the writing in lockdown. But you sort of build up to this moment of releasing your album, and we've got a new one coming. I don't feel the same about this one because. In terms of the anticipation or the sort of, I think we built up in our heads this the debut album is so important. It's your flag in the sand. It's your shop window. It's all those sort of cliches that people say, and like because of that, it was always bound to be underwhelming because we were putting so much expectation onto not necessarily the success or whatever, but just putting so much weight on it. So when it came out, there was this huge period of probably about 2 or 3 months of decompression where we were like, whoa, that was so intense, and like kind of felt like a hangover or a come down or something, where I was just a bit like, if you set yourself huge expectations, you're bound to be disappointed. So I think the first record was just a really steep learning curve. With it being, that's regardless of lockdown. I think lockdown only heightened that, but that was probably always going to be the case. So,
but it's been so well received.
Yeah, no, it has.
Did all that take you by surprise?
Yeah, I mean, so we have just amazing fans. Like the fans are great, and coming out to the States, being able to meet the fans like this side of like the world is amazing, and I appreciate how loyal and sort of into it they are. I feel like we're lucky, like our fans we don't have a very passive audience. That if you like Easy Life, it seems to me that you listen to the whole back catalogue. You'll see tonight that they sing to Nightmares and all the other sort of singles, but they know the words to like the second verse of all the B-sides and everything. They're really into it, and for me, like that's like the greatest honor ever. Like it means so much, especially lots of those songs were just written in my bedroom, and never. And again, it sounds cliche, but never thought that this many people would hear them, let alone receive them. So
and it's your life. They're singing back your life stories to you.
Yeah, it's very surreal. And I'm super humbled by it. It's incredible. I'm very, very lucky.
So when you started the band, what kind of music were you listening to around that time?
Oh God! I mean, we started the band like 2017 or 2018, end of 2017. I think I'd really caught onto this. It's such a rich South London jazz scene. Which I still follow now, but at the time I think I literally just discovered that we're not from London, so I spent a lot of time listening to hip hop growing up, and still listen to loads of hip hop now. And we played brass in the band, I played the trumpet and some plays saxophone, so we'd always played in sort of big bands and swing bands and stuff, so I always liked the jazz music, but hadn't realised there was a native London scene happening by people our age, and I think I discovered that back then, and I started experimenting with jazz chords and all that kind of stuff, and that's what really led to the sound of our first mixtape. So I seem to remember listening to a lot of that stuff, but at the same time we'd also be listening to a lot of American music then as well. But I think everyone listens to American music,
Yeah.
Which is funny because I've got loads of American friends who make music too, and they're always like, oh, British music is just so good, and I'm like, what? I think American music's so good. It's funny, isn't it? Because
I think it's got that kind of romanticism, being from a foreign land.
Exactly.
And so, especially with America, because it's it's a lot of movies and all that kind of stuff.
Exactly.
It's some kind of fancy land. But talking about the British bands, there is a lot of British bands making a noise in worldwide, but especially in America now.
Yeah.
And they a lot of them kind of getting lumped in together. You know, you've got like wet leg and dry cleaning and yard act and all those people.
Yes.
You don't feel like you're a part of that.
No.
Obviously, your sound's very different.
No, I don't, and I really respect those bands. I know a lot of them too, and they're all really cool. And that sound was, they'd probably hate me to describe it, but it's like post-punk kind of like.
Honestly.
Yeah, I know. I think it's more than that though, because this feels like a rebirth of that kind of stuff. But whatever. That stuff's really cool. I like it, but you know, we're coming. Our references, like visually and sonically, are worlds apart from that. But like, I still love that those bands are happening, and like I think when they got number one.
Yes, it is.
Is it today? Yeah. It just so that's.
I think they're as surprised as anybody.
Yeah, but do you know what? Like that's so sick. That's so sick.
So who do you see as your contemporaries? Anybody?
Oh, that's a good question. I would sound like such an arrogant wanker, but I would say that there isn't yet another band that does what we do from England.
I think it's okay that you say that because I kind of agree with you, and that's why I asked the question.
I hate
So
it.
like, who are the people that
I know, but someone on YouTube is going to be like, wow, he's so full of himself. Oh, that's awful. But I don't know. I think one thing we're always trying to do is like, again, I sound very pretentious, but it's be different, or even like try and sonically make something break new ground, you know, maybe, I don't know, and I think we draw from so many different, influences that I think when we smash them together, we do reach somewhere new. If you think of, compare us to those sort of more traditional guitar-based UK bands, like, I think we sound quite different. So I can't really think of anyone that does what we do. But that said, maybe we've sort of made a little blueprint of how things could be done differently, and like I'm sure there's kids like coming up now that are just going to blow us out of the water and smash it, and I can't wait for that to happen.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So you touched a little bit about on the second album.
Yes.
What did you learn from the first album that's helped you on the second album?
Oh my god, so much. I think, like I said earlier, the first album really is like a greatest hits album in a way. I've spent years writing it, whereas this album I wrote in like 12 months, or maybe slightly longer than a year, maybe 18 months. No, less than a year.
Yeah.
No, I wrote it really quick. Not intentionally quickly, I just, I found a sound and like a sonic identity like really early on by accident. I wasn't trying to write an album at that stage, and then I thought, wow, like, this is great. I want, 20 other tracks that sound just like this one, and then I did that, and that's the record really. And then, honestly, like, I learned so much. And when I made the third album, I'll have this conversation again. I'm like, oh man, I've learned so much from what I did wrong with the second album, and should have done this, should have done that. It's a constant learning curve, so I'm not suggesting that I've reached a point where I know how to make an album, because I definitely don't. But the second album was really good. I really believe that. Like, I didn't have so much confidence with the first one. Maybe it was because it's the first time you do anything, you're a little bit apprehensive, but I think it's really good. It has not only a sonic identity, but quite a strong visual identity too, which I'm quite proud of, because we've always taken a lot of care with our visuals. But with this one, I was we started working on the visuals at the same time as we started working on the music. It's quite traditional in music for you to like finish the album sonically, and then be like, right, what's the artwork, what do the videos look like? But with this project, we were doing it all at the same time, so everything evolved quite cohesively, and I feel like there's not like a divide. It's like very obvious sort of through that runs.
Yeah, there's a lot of humour in what you do.
Yeah, there is. Yeah, we definitely, I'm sort of pinch myself when I say these stupid, pretentious things because it sounds like we're really deep thinking and take ourselves too seriously. But yeah, definitely, we don't take ourselves seriously. I think that's important. Not in general. Like I like it when musicians do take themselves seriously, actually, but I don't necessarily think that we belong in that same world of sort of chin stroking, like deep thinking philosophers, because a lot of what I say is just very menial day-to-day stuff that people form strange attachments
That's why people can associate with it.
Yeah, sure, but yeah, I mean it's all just.
Okay, to wrap up, what would you say is the album you listen to the most in your lifetime?
Oh my god. Wow.
So the first thing that comes to your head?
Probably, I don't know, oh god. It would probably almost definitely be a Kanye album, but I wouldn't know which one because I listen to them all a lot when they come out. The short one, Yay, or like I Hate Being Bipolar is Awesome, the one that he put out like 3 years ago or maybe 4 years ago. That's probably my favourite Kanye record, which is like a kind of like a polarising opinion. But
I think everybody has a different favourite Kanye album.
Yeah, I listen to that a lot, like a lot. But I don't know why, I always come back to that one.
Right. And what's the last album that got you excited? Like maybe from a new act that we don't know?
Well, at the minute, the Wet Leg album I think is really good, and I think everyone should listen to that. Does that count as an answer?
Yeah.
Do you know what? Like I get into these like deep into like our album process. I pretty much don't listen to anything except Easy Life.
A lot of people say that.
At the start of the process, I listen to loads of other music to try and like steal all their ideas, but when I'm into it, I don't really. Yeah. So I've not got my finger on the pulse, man. You've caught me at a bad time. But that album is really good, and credit to them. Like it's amazing.
Yeah, it's nice to see. Like it's obviously unexpected.
Yeah.
For them, they seem like they're just like caught in the headlights a little bit.
Yeah, for sure.
And now they're number one in the charts.
I know, crazy.
It's inspiring.
It really is.
People do this.
It really is.
You know, especially if they encourage any girls to pick up guitars.
I know, super cool what they're doing. I respect them a lot.
Cool. Well, it's been really nice chatting to you. I look forward to seeing you on the stage tonight.
Oh my god,
Yeah, thanks a lot.
Thanks so much for having me.
Wish you go slowly. I think you've had quite